There has never been a better time than now to come join the Bellisio Foods team. Bellisio has a new contract in place with plenty of awesome perks for their employees. From increased wages, access to the free health clinic, vacation after 6 months, and much more, Bellisio Foods is committed to putting their employees first. For more information or to apply, visit BellisioFoods.com/careers. Take advantage of these great new employee benefits and join the Bellisio team today. Visit BellisioFoods.com/careers to learn more.
Well, happy morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV. And, of course, Jennifer here with...
Porterhouse. Rodney.
Or Rodney.
However you want to go. I don't know, man.
That's right.
It's hard living a split personality. The one cool thing is I haven't started talking in third person. Like Porterhouse don't play that. So we're still good in that department.
Dude, when you do... We'll put a fork in you.
All right, I'll be done at that particular point.
No. Well, so you don't have any wigs on today or any weird personalities
No,
today?
actually, it's a new year. It's a new rod, and we.
Oh yeah. Straight down the center line, this guy's gonna go.
Yes, I am. I said I didn't make any New Year's resolutions, but I promised to be a better person. So that's what I'm working on right now. Why do you laugh like that?
I know it's just my laugh.
Okay, yeah. Well,
He's so
you know
cute.
me a little. You know. You know me so well, but so many people. I will try to be on this more straight and narrow and more business like. I turned 53 this year, believe it or not. So I thought maybe it's time to grow up just a little bit. Mm-hmm. I thought about maybe getting a job and actually going to work, but
oh man,
I know. But why I've done it this long? Why start now, right?
Well, Jimmy Buffett sings a song. It's called "I'm Growing Older but Not Up." So I feel as if that should be like our mantra.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think we should live by that because when you grow up, then
who wants to do that?
Then whenever you take falls like I took the other night, I did fall on my hip the other night, by the way. And I was like, this is.
Where's your walker?
Well, see, that's the cool thing. I landed right on the ball joint, and I honestly thought that I broke my hip. I mean, I hit so. I don't know that I've ever landed so hard as what I did the other night. I walked out. I was getting something out of the back of my truck, and it was during the rainy part, and I swear I have entirely too much topsoil in my yard. I mean, it is so it's just like you just sink everywhere you go.
I got you.
I need to sell some of it off and get down to some harder base because you sink so. But anyway, and it makes it slick. And I went down just a little gradual decline, and I mean, my feet went out from under me, and bam, I landed on my hip so hard. I basically saw stars. It made me sick to my stomach. That's the reason I thought that I thought something was broken. And obviously I had a little chat with a good man upstairs and was like, just, if it's broke, just let it heal fast. I got to get to work. That was the only thing that I said. And so I went ahead and I stumbled to the truck. I got the thing that I was getting out of the back of the truck, and I stumbled back in, and the 15-year or 16-year-old young man that was there helping me that night, who probably should have gone and done that. What's up, man? What happened?
Yeah, make the old guy go do it.
I'm like, I'm going to go take a bath, a really hot bath right now, man.
He's like, dude, how'd you throw something out, walk into the truck and back?
It was, but, and fortunately, it's okay. I'm
really?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's sore to touch, but I'm not getting old yet, folks. That's the great thing about it. My bones aren't brittle, and I'm not broken.
Your calcium intake must be pretty high. So, no, isn't that, though, the worst feeling, like, while you're sitting there assessing that for, like, the 2 seconds that it takes to assess whether you're going to die or something's broken or whatever? Like, You're just like...
Yeah. Yeah, and then the pain sets in, and then you're like...
And then it's like that delayed pain, too. You're like, I know it's coming. Oh, there it is.
I cut the tip of my finger off this winter, believe it or not.
No.
And It was bad. I mean, fortunately, it was really weird. I took it and I peeled it back on and I held it back on and and I got some tape and I should have honestly gone to. I mean, look at it. It actually healed up pretty good, but it was all the way halfway, 3/4 of the way around, 2/3 of the way around.
It's not the same color as the rest of your finger.
It's
though.
not, but it works. And it was cheap.
Ew.
I used duct tape.
Listen, if you've ever worked in a restaurant kitchen and you haven't used super glue or duct tape, then
you aren't working.
You haven't done something right. So that I will give you.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just wrap a napkin around it and some duct tape. You'll be all right.
That's exactly what I did. And amazingly, there's just a little piece of it right here that doesn't have any feeling.
I was going to say, can you feel? Because that's always the big thing.
I mean, I can feel like if you push on it, you can feel, but no. I mean, right, just that little piece right there. And I was contemplating when I was looking at it, but I was looking at the bone at the same time, and I was like, I was like, should I just cut that off, or should I try to peel it back around? And I worked on it for days. I mean, it would come. I'd take the bandage off, and I'd have to keep working the skin over, and I'm like, you're not going to die on me. You're not going to. And it got back to like this red color, and I was like, yes, it's getting life back into it. And,
I have the number to Holzer Wound Care right
I don't
here,
need it.
actually.
It happened late at night. It is sad. I don't want to go to the hospital unless it's a life and death situation right now, because what if I do go in there and I'm exposed to something that I don't want to be exposed to? So I stay away from those kind of places.
Or there are people in there that really are, it's a life and death situation and whatever. Although cutting your finger off and bleeding to death is probably, valid.
I have a little first aid training. I mean, I do have my first aid card and stuff. I'm not an EMT by no stretch of the imagination, but I know how to, stop bleeding and suture wounds. He took
the Red Cross class. He's all right.
I'm perfect.
I'm now a plastic surgeon. I just stitched that sucker back together myself. No worries.
It's the truth, though. That's for sure.
No, well, I'm glad you survived. That's a good thing.
Yep. And again, the important thing there, the moral behind this story is not getting old yet. See,
there you go.
Yeah.
You healed and everything.
Hey, we got some things going on around the community.
Yeah, we have some cancellations and stuff we need to talk about.
Yeah, you want to do that, or do you want me to?
We can share.
Okay, go ahead.
You go, I go. You go, I go.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay. And unfortunately, I don't have. Okay, yeah, there we go. My arms are.
Do you want me to hold it over here?
Maybe. That's the first 40 years old. 42 years old.
Speaking of,
and my eyesight went.
I went to the eye doctor yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And he's so sweet and diplomatic about telling me that I'm old AF. But that's a whole other story. He's like, he's like, do you have any problems with your eyes? I'm like, yeah, I can't see.
Right.
And he's like, okay, we can adjust your bifocals.
Oh, you wear glasses?
Mm-hmm, contacts.
Oh, okay. You got bifocals in your glasses? How's that work?
Contacts, yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
They're magic, by the way.
Let me ask you
That's something, we should have them come in and talk about that. They're magic.
I don't know how something like that would work.
Because I fought it forever because I was like, there's no way you're going to see a line, whatever. No, it depends on which direction your eyeball is looking as to what activates in the contact. It's so cool. You see there's nothing. Like there's no line, there's no anything.
What's your opinion on LASIK surgery?
Would love to get it. Don't have the
guts. That's it. I've got a friend.
I mean, would love to get it.
I got a friend's his wife. Well, she's my friend. My friends. She works in the for LASIK surgery doctor in Indianapolis. It's
really?
like an in out. I mean, she says it's simple as can be.
Like it's seconds.
Right, and they act like it's no big deal. And I'm like.
Yeah, till they cut your eyeball open and you can't see for, whatever.
Right. And that's what scares me. My mom, who is probably one of the biggest worrywarts in the world, who is more anxious and more about things, procedures and things of that nature. And, you'd think going into someone's eyeball like that,
thank you.
She wouldn't be able to handle it. But my mother, she did it. And at like 80 years old, she started, when she's back to glasses now, She uses readers and stuff like that,
Sure.
but she's like 90 now. But when this was before, like right around the time that she turned 80 or whatever, she went and had it done.
Wow.
And she said she was awake through the whole process. And when she told me that, I was like, I don't know if I could do that.
I know, because like they pull the flap back and then you can't see for a while.
Yeah.
And when I say a while, it's like a couple seconds.
It would seem like eternity.
And then they zap it and then whatever. But exactly. Be the longest second of your life.
like when you hit that, when you land on that hip.
Right. So I want to thank Doctors Green and Brown for diplomatically telling me that I'm old, except for also fixing some of this so that now I can sort of see again for another year. Okay, back to cancellations.
Yeah, the Jackson County Republican Party Committee announced on Monday afternoon, January 3rd, that both committee meetings scheduled for this week to appoint new city council members in both Wellston and Jackson have been postponed.
Oh, no, because that's a big deal.
It is. It really is. What they're saying, a notification from the Central Committee Secretary, Deborah Canner, stated that the meeting set for January 3rd, this past Monday in Wellston, and on Tuesday, January 4th in Jackson, today, have been postponed due to difficulties obtaining a quorum, which has been impacted by increases in the coronavirus cases.
Yep.
New meeting times and dates for both meetings will be announced later. The January 3rd meeting was scheduled for 6:30 last night, but obviously that's not going to be happening. So basically, we'll have more details on that coming up. You're going to want to watch the telegramnews.com.
Yes, for sure.
I know a lot of folks like to read the hard copy of the newspaper, but one thing that I think is vital and important to stay up to date and on things right now is to definitely get you a digital subscription of the Telegram News right now so you can keep up to date with things like this.
That's
because
right.
They update it constantly.
Because we reported those meetings yesterday right here. And, those are important because they're picking new council people to replace two that have either resigned or moved on or whatever. And it's like, that's a big deal. So
it is. And even though there's not a lot of things going on per se right now, we need people in those positions so they can get their feet grounded so they can, whenever the issues and things do start coming in, they're a little better prepared. So the quicker we can get them in, obviously the quicker, the better it's going to be. So as soon as that is announced, we'll be able to let you know.
That's right. All right. Oak Hill Mayor, effective Tuesday, January 4th, that's today. Oak Hill Mayor Paul McNeil is recommending that members of the public wear masks when entering the Imogene Brunton Davis Memorial Building, which is the village building there in Oak Hill, for village business. So they're just asking you to do the right thing. The mayor also suggests that if those who have to pay a water bill, you can utilize, there's a drop box, or you can make your payments online. That way you're not having to be out in the public.
Awesome. And after school programs canceled at Bundy Intermediate School for today. The Wellston City School District has announced there will be no afternoon Wellston Rockets after school program. That's called WRAP, W-R-A. I like that. That's pretty cool. Wellston Rockets after school program, WRAP. For Bundy Elementary and Wellston Intermediate School for tomorrow, Tuesday, January 4th is today, obviously. That's due to busing, I believe is what they're saying. WRAP will be held for Wellston Middle School. So only at Bundy is it affected, I guess, and then the Wellston Intermediate School tomorrow. But Wellston Middle School, nothing being affected for WRAP for those guys.
Well, here's another one so we don't get out of whack.
Okay.
All right. COVID-19 issues shut down the Oak Hills boys basketball team for a week. They're out of action for the remainder of this week, and both games scheduled for this week have been postponed. Tonight's game is against Lucasville Valley, and next Friday's, or this coming Friday, against Waverly. So both of those have been postponed. Oak Hill Athletic Director Scott Lewis confirmed that one or more players are positive for COVID, and this has resulted in the other players being quarantined, as you can imagine. Kind of hard to play a sport and not get exposed.
Right.
Lewis does expect both games this week to be rescheduled, as both our Southern Ohio Conference
Ooh,
games.
Yeah, those are definitely going to need to be rescheduled.
We definitely have to do that.
Listening to some news reports earlier this morning, I believe they said that the cases with the Omicron variant have skyrocketed. We're seeing probably more cases than we've ever seen of people testing positive. I know that they said over the course of the weekend and with Monday's results, they're probably tallying those together, but I think they said over 1 million new cases.
It's a big deal.
It's huge. But they said one thing that I found enlightening about the story is that they did make mention that deaths are down. So obviously, I think with people being immunized, those that are being immunized, and hopefully the variant that is going through now isn't as bad. But regardless, deaths are down at the moment on that. So hopefully that's a trend that we see continue, even if the virus it continues to go up.
This is such a roller coaster ride because I got notification yesterday of a friend who was being admitted to the hospital yesterday, who is fully vaccinated, and she is positive and being admitted to the hospital.
Yeah.
She's in kind of rough shape. And so, I mean, these are things, so you think, oh, and then you hear that and it's like, oh, and it hits home and you're like, oh no, this is not good.
Yeah, I had my cousin's wife actually, and my cousin, they both contracted COVID. Thankfully, I wasn't around that part of the family over at the holidays.
Right.
But my cousin's wife, she is just coming off cancer treatments and things, and her immunity system is down.
Yes.
She was in the hospital. She's out and back home now. So that's a good thing. They had some home remedies that they did that really helped her out, but she did have to go in for a couple of days, and she's out. So that's some good news, I guess, in some area. It's really weird. I don't know, if it's individuals, how it affects. It's such a scary thing because there's so many unknown variables about it right now. Protecting yourself is probably the most important. And I think as much as anything, like myself, I should probably think about protecting others more than myself. I have been fortunate. I don't know. I may have had it in the very, very beginning, but I've worked with and around people and been in situations, where you would think, I've never noticed any true symptoms. I've had like flu-like symptoms and things like that, but never anything that was, and I've been tested for COVID, never tested positive whenever I had symptoms or anything like that.
It's wild.
It's funny how, and I'm not to say, it might be waiting for the worst variant to attack me.
It's waiting for you. Only Porterhouse right there.
Right. But, it really baffles me how it does, how it affects people in different ways, and I was on the bandwagon, in the beginning, not really understanding and not knowing because I being from. Obviously, there were a lot of political issues with it in the beginning.
Sure.
And
I mean, there still are.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was a lot of money that was being, and that's what a lot of the people that I was dealing with, I dealt with people out of New York that worked in the healthcare system and saw it firsthand. And right, I mean, immediately after the country opened back up, I was hearing reports of that, and people were so frustrated that worked at those, in those places, they're escalating the numbers. People are coming in for a broken leg and they're saying they're testing positive for COVID, and it's all money game, it's all numbers game. So there initially in the beginning, I don't know what the number. I believe the numbers are probably more accurate now than what they were in the beginning. But nonetheless, it's funny how it has changed, and my opinion about the whole thing has changed because in the beginning, I was like, it's not as bad as what it is. And then, I have people that I know that has passed away from it. And
when it finally hits you personally, that's when you change your mind.
You're like, okay, this is real.
Yeah.
This is very, very real.
It's for sure real.
Don't deny the fact that it's not real. The political hoopla that runs around it, none of that matters. The fact that remains that is there is a disease out there, and we need to do something in order to try to combat it as much as possible right now. And taking personal measures with the masks. I wish I was a little more adamant about that.
Well, you know what? It's so funny too. I think that you just like if you just have access to it and you put it in your pocket, or like especially right now you're wearing a coat, so just keep one in your coat pocket. Then it makes it easier to like, oh, even if you forget, you see someone with it on, you throw it on and whatever. But yeah, I mean, I got away from it for a while, but now I'm kind of like back to it.
I'm one of those people that I was adamant. I went to Florida a year ago. I mean, for Thanksgiving, and when I went to Florida, I had a mask on because that was the norm everywhere else. And the guy laughed at me and said, "What are you doing wearing a mask? COVID don't exist in Florida," kind of making a joke out of it, obviously, at that particular point. But really, from that point on, I haven't worn a mask very often. And I'll be honest with you, there was a couple instances where I was there's things that I haven't done because I got upset because I didn't want to wear my mask. And second thought, I realized maybe that was an idiotic thing and an idiotic way for me to think. It was selfish on my part to feel like that, because of, I don't get. And maybe not, but now that I see what's going on, especially with it going into the winter and stuff, but
no, you're entitled to change your opinion,
right?
Too,
and I was adamant, and I'll tell you, adamant about the fact of the shot. I don't want to say it's not a cure or whatever it is, but the vaccine, whatever you want to call it. It's not even that technically. I think it's like a flu shot, because if it was a vaccine, it would keep it away. But, since it doesn't keep it away, it's not technically a vaccine, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean like the flu shot or anything doesn't work whenever you take it. So I'm of the mindset that, this is a good thing. I personally wanted to wait and see which ones were the most effective before I did it. At first, I was like, no, there's no way I'm taking that. I never took a flu shot. It's something that, it's my body, my choice. And I still believe that. I still believe it's my body, my choice. If I want to take that shot, fine. If I don't want to take that shot, fine. But the jury's still out for me, honestly. But I tell you what I do is I check my temperature before I leave home every day. I try to be as safe as possible. I try to make sure before I leave that I'm okay, and I always check, and I do social distance, and I keep away from people as much as possible. I mean, there are some occasions where you get in the close quarters and you do the bro hugs, and you get the things like that go on, but it's more limited than what it used to be and things like that.
It is. This is something, and I forgot to talk about this yesterday, something I did observe, and then we'll get to our other cancellations.
Sorry.
It was like 20 minutes ago we were talking about cancellations, but so I noticed Jamie and I were in Columbus over the weekend, and I just made dinner reservations for he and I on New Year's Eve. Yeah, that was Friday. And so we went to kind of like an old school restaurant in German Village. Hadn't been there before. It was an Italian restaurant. And what I gleaned from that, though, was because I was like, oh, are we the losers going out just two people on New Year's Eve? Like, are we, because New Year's Eve is like a...
Right.
Get everyone together, kind of, whatever.
I was in bed at 9:30.
Well, I call it amateur hour. Like, I'm more like I would rather be in bed at 9:30. So I made reservations at like 7:30.
Oh, okay.
We were so far home by then. But but what I did glean from it was I was looking around the restaurant and I saw no tables more than 4, 6. There weren't any. My point is
there weren't large gatherings.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so then we went to there's a little bar that we like down the street, and so we just went there to have a drink just before we went home, and same thing. It was all couples, and I was like, okay, so. I mean, I think people are like kind of changing their plans.
I think so. I think it's affecting people, maybe not consciously.
Correct.
I think
like you may not know what you're doing.
Right. I think our choices, we're making subconscious choices without, because, and I don't want to say we're programmed that way, but I mean, in a sense, it has been that way. But at the same time, I think it's self-preservation as much as anything. I mean, we're even the non-believers
worry about us. Yeah. Worry about me. Worry about
even the non-believers or however you want, the conspiracy people or whatever are starting to realize, hey, that's the way. Yeah. I think I mean
It's
that
changing the way we
it's
think
changed a
little
lot.
bit. Yeah,
I mean,
it has.
it really makes me second guess my trips to town, my choices on where I'm going to go, where I'm going to shop, what I'm going to do. I'm not going to lie. I really like it from the standpoint because I don't like crowds. I mean, that sounds weird being a person that does events and things like that, but
I know what you
I'm the
mean.
type of person that I can stand in front of 50 or 100, 200,000 people and not have a problem. You put me in that crowd of 50, 100.
I get it.
I can't handle that
Uh-huh.
kind of stuff. So, yeah, so I like to stay away from the crowd. So I stay away from the big retail chain, the big W over there. And I like to hit, all the smaller places if I can. I like to spend my money
Sure.
locally as much as I possibly can. So it makes me plan my trips. It doesn't, though it may be convenient to go there, it's convenience for me isn't as it's okay. Where do I stay away from the most people? How can I stay away from people the most? So I go here. Not that the Callahans isn't busy because it's a busy place, but it's not like going in and you don't have every Tom, Dick, and Harry from about 7 different counties in there.
Well,
going grocery shopping, clothes shopping.
Plus, their service is just amazing as well.
It
so,
is. It most
and we've
certainly
talked about that a lot.
Yeah, I love going there. I do, and I love shopping all the little local areas around here. I'm doing some home remodeling right now, and I've gone into the floor store. I've gone into the Do It Center and 84 Lumber and the different places around. And
we have great places around
we
here.
do. We really do. And I don't go to Chilitown, and I don't go to Ashland or any place else. I'm trying to keep it as local as possible. And anyway, like I say, subconsciously, maybe that's a conscious thing. I don't know, but subconsciously, I started thinking about it. Then I consciously started making the plans. I think is the way that worked for me. Okay, let's continue
Yes,
with.
continuing
I got
on
one
with
more.
our cancellation.
Jackson County Health Department temporarily out of COVID-19 test kits. Oops, that's not good. But the good news is I'm sure they will be getting them in very quickly. The Jackson County Health Department announced Monday afternoon that is currently out of COVID-19 test kits. We have ordered more, but we have been told, there is a shortage of test kits at the moment, according to a post on the Jackson County Health Department's Facebook page. They will update when we receive more. And
again, that's where you tune into the Telegram news
exactly
online or on the Facebook page and stay updated that way. As far as I know, and I could be wrong on this, and Roger Donaldson may come through the screen and slap me, but our Jackson Library did have some test kits available. And what they want you to do is if you just pull up to the front door, give them a ring, and they'll bring one right out to you.
Right.
So
that's
I did that the other day.
That's a great thing. And, I've been seeing that, and I think this is great too. The availability of test kits that are going to be at like Walgreens and Walmart and different places like that, because, just like I said, preventative measures. You wake up, you feel a little off that day, why not go ahead and take the test? But
which is ironic because before you just woke up with a cold and you just went about your business.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be a wimp. Just go to work.
Yeah, if Porterhouse can do it, you can do it. Uh-oh, I just did it. The third person.
Oh no, he's put a fork in him. He's done.
Well, I'm done. But in all seriousness, if I think like that, I think that everybody can think like that. Grab a thermometer, man. They're like $5, $6.
Seriously.
Check your temperature every day and check it 2 or 3 times a day. You know, just to make sure, because the last thing in the world you want to do is be responsible for passing it on to someone that can't fight it off if you do happen to.
Correct.
If you feel that you've got the immune system to fight it off, more power to you. I don't know if I do or not. I know 30-year-old people that were athletes and
correct. It's weird.
And they get it worse and actually have passed away from it. I don't understand how that works. I've known athletes that are at the peak of their performance and their physical conditioning. They get it and they go through the initial COVID phase where they're okay. They get through that. It was rough. I had a rough time a few days, but all in all, I felt okay. That wasn't so bad. But here I am. It's 3 weeks later, and I still can't breathe. That's one of the biggest things that I've heard about a lot.
Marathon runners that go out and they can't even run a half a mile, and it's a year into it, and they still can't do it. It's wild.
And he, and then but I don't know whether the other people that I talk to that aren't in that good or physical shape, they don't seem to have those kind of complaints for nearly as long. Now, whether or not it's just something that they've learned to deal with and they don't complain about. Or they don't notice it as much because they've never been.
Because we're not in shape. All of us slugs out there don't have anything to worry about.
I'm going to lean maybe towards that a little bit more because
we just don't notice anything different. We can't breathe anyway. I couldn't run a half mile if someone paid me. So
amazingly, I can. I can't believe it. I hate to admit it. I
couldn't run around the block.
I am a heavy smoker and probably not in the greatest condition of the world, but I can run a half mile and I'll get a little winded, but it won't be that bad. I can walk up 3 flights of stairs and I can't hardly breathe.
I know. So our only hope was being at the other building because we all had to walk up and down those steps like a couple of times a day, and it was like our built-in like exercise for the day. And now we are definitely all slugs. That's it.
Well, I've been pretty well. I haven't been so sluggish lately. I have been trying to do a little home remodeling, which, by the way. Amazingly, I took my floors down. I don't know, a whole different subject, I realized, but I took my floors all the way down to the original hardwood floors that were in my old farmhouse.
Oh, I bet they're so pretty. Are they pine or are they oak?
I think they're awful soft, so they're probably a pine. The thing that amazes me, I didn't realize there was a different floor plan in that house, but I can see by the hardwood, the way there was a whole different floor plan in that house. And I'm thinking about going back to the original floor plan of the house.
Really?
And saving the hardwood floors possibly. I don't know.
Love that.
I have to go over to Wagner's and rent myself a big sander, but half a day I can get her done.
There you go.
But
That's awesome.
But I don't know what brought me to that anyway.
I think it had something to do with you being in shape or not in shape.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been getting a little bit of exercise. I've been stripping those floors, and that has been giving me a rather big cardiovascular workout. I'm glad to have you that know what's going on and following along because I just can't seem to do that sometimes.
It's okay. I got your back, buddy.
Well, I'm done. We already stuck a fork in me.
Yeah. When you go to the person, you're done. Done. Oh my gosh. So did you have a good Christmas and holiday? Did you do anything fun?
I did. I had a great Christmas. I had a great holiday. I mean, I always accept it for what it is. I tried to take in the season and not all the hoopla that goes on around it. In some ways, the last few Christmases have been, in their own ways, some of the best Christmases that they have been. There was some rough circumstances surrounding probably this Christmas a little bit, but overall, it was again one of the best that I've ever had. Spent it with my girlfriend, whom I've been with for a few years, and her family, which. Way timing and families and schedules and everything work out. We'd never been able to make it work, but I actually got to go spend with their family, and it was a very enlightening moment. People say, here's the wild thing, and I'm going to say, everybody thinks they're normal, right? But at the same time, everybody thinks they're weird and they're not normal.
Yeah, till you get together with all your family, right, and then you realize
maybe we're not so normal. and that's one thing that Diane was so concerned about, is that she was afraid that her family's. She just hasn't met all my family's what it is, I think. But she was afraid that, some of her different, and there's none of, I mean, they're all good people, but, she was just afraid that because when everybody, how goofy people get when they get together.
Oh, I know.
It was a lot of fun. It was, I didn't think that they were, that's what I told her. I said, honey, I said, they're not weird. I said, that is normal for you folks. Everybody's normal is different.
Why don't you just say, if you can live with me, there's nobody weird.
I don't think she's figured that out yet, but I think slowly she is starting to figure that out. But no, it was really unique because, and we've tried to do this in our family and in places that I've been before where we do the gift exchanges and, one at a time type thing. And, and everybody's like, oh, it's taking too long. It's taking too long. It took a while. I think we were opening gifts for 2.5 hours. And I made the mistake of videoing on my phone in 4K, 121 gigabytes of video data. So I've got to figure out, I've got to get a card big enough to put that on so I can deduce it down. But anyway, 2.5 hours. And it was so cool because everybody got highlighted. Everyone's gift got highlighted.
Yeah.
And everyone, I think, aside from that, one of the most appreciative families I've ever been around in my life. They appreciated everything.
That's
and it wasn't,
good.
and everything was so sincere. I mean, it was very sincere. That was what the great thing was. It wasn't acting like, oh, thank you. You didn't see that half-hearted smile behind it. And
like, oh, God, what am I going to do with this?
It didn't matter if it was a $2 trinket to a $200 or $500. Everything meant something. And every gift had a meaning behind it. It was bought for that person specifically. I think that's probably what made it so much more special.
I think so. And people just get so crazy with the gifts. And I was talking to another friend where, her child is a tween at this point. And so she was like really struggling with the fact that the child wanted, like an iPad and like everything was
expensive,
and so she's like, literally she has like 2 or 3 gifts to open and that's it. Right. Because everything was like really extremely expensive. Yeah. And she's like, I don't know how that's going to go over, but she said it went over very well.
That's awesome.
And it's not like it's quality, not quantity. And like, I think that, if everyone would just stop like buying crap, like just, hey, how about like you buy one gift or you exchange names or you do something like that. I mean, that just takes the pressure off
and
of
the
it.
meaning, and you can put more meaning into what you're doing, I mean, in reality, and I say it, and it sounds so cliche, but we get away from what the true meaning of the holiday is about, I mean,
right.
Most people still celebrate it for the birth of Christ. Some people celebrate it for other reasons, but regardless, it's all about goodwill and it brings people together. And it's a time when, I don't know what it is. It just, people act different during that time of year. And, I think those are the kind of things that we should play on, is the giving part of it, not the receiving part of it. Yep. Unfortunately, our kids, and maybe we are responsible for that.
Probably.
My kid this year, my daughter, she wanted a new iPhone. She's got two grandkids, and so I got her the iPhone 13. I got me a new one too.
Merry Christmas to me.
And but my son, on the other hand, I said, what do you want? And a few months ago, he'd said something about an Xbox One or a PlayStation 5 or something. And then as we got closer to Christmas, I'm like, what do you want? I don't know. I'm like, as we get close, I keep asking. And finally, I just, and as bad as it is, and, with as busy as I was working on the house and stuff, I really didn't have a lot of time to put a lot of thought into a lot of the Christmas stuff. So I just went and got him a gift card. He was satisfied, but he wasn't satisfied,
Hey, you should have opened your mouth then.
Yeah, but he tells me he's got everything he needs. He's got everything he wants. So,
I think we live in a spoiled society now where,
absolutely.
If you want something, you just go get it.
Yeah, I mean, and I hate to admit it, but, we would go to the races. And on the race weekends, even though I was working there and stuff, there was cost, that incurred with parts, accessories, gas. I mean, for a 5-gallon pail of gas, it's $85 for 5 gallons of the race gas that we use and things, So, right. and you go through a lot of that stuff in training and riding and racing and stuff. A new tire, on the back that you got to buy every few weeks, is $85 or $100, or $60, depending on where you get it from and who you get it from, and whether you get that good buddy discount or whatever may be. So, he got everything that he needed and everything that he wanted. So when it came time for Christmas, he didn't know what to ask for. So,
and that's fair.
So I made it my resolution this year. I'm not buying my son anything all year so I can buy him something for Christmas. I'm kidding. He'll come up to, hey, Dad. He's already asking for a new iPhone because he knows his sister got one.
Is that McKee guy telling us to be quiet?
I think so.
Is he one to talk?
Shut your door, Matt McKee.
Yeah. You should. Did he shush us?
I thought maybe we were going over on time or something. He was telling us to wrap it up. It's 9:40.
But no, and that's the thing. Like Jamie and I don't even do gifts anymore. So it's like if either of us really want something, I think we get it, or we get it as a couple or whatever. But I think that if I really looked at him as I got something, would you buy me this? He'd be like, well, sure. It's just I don't ever think of anything.
Right. I mean,
really, in the world, what do we need?
And it's like what we want or what we need. I'm sure there's a lot of people that's not in the position, but we get it. If you need it, you get it. To me, a lot of times I look at it from a practicality point, and most things that I buy that I need or want are business related. So I'm like, okay, if I buy this, I'm going to spend X amount of dollars on it. How much money can I make off this tool or this piece of equipment that I'm going to buy?
Correct. You can justify it in that, that way.
Instead of buying a $200 laptop at Walmart, I can go buy a $1,200 laptop that I know is going to last for 5 or 6 years.
Correct.
And save me money over time. And I'll be able to make more money off of that over time and lose less. And, you got to weigh things. But, and that's it with me. There's nothing really that I want. If I need new clothes, I'll go buy new clothes. If although I will say this, I did get a new pair of buck boots, and I got a new winter coat and a few other things from my mom, from Santa Claus.
Oh, Santa!
Yeah, and I still get gifts from Santa. So
that's so nice.
But I appreciated that because I needed a new coat, but I would have bought a new coat when I was out on the road, and I'm looking at the temperature and saying, well, I'm going to need a thicker coat. So this saves me from having to go buy a new coat and go buy new butt boots now.
Right.
But those are things that I would have bought fresh for the season whenever I went back out. But it was nice.
There you go.
So, what does it mean when your eye starts twitching?
I think that someone's talking about you.
Is it that or a vitamin deficiency? I'm sure there's a lot of people.
I don't know.
I'm sure there's a lot of people talking about me, right?
Right. Hey, if they're talking about us, they're not talking about somebody else,
Exactly.
And that's totally fine. So, hey, we do have a couple of other stories that Pete gave us, which I thought was super cute, and they're Christmas-related stories, so that kind of segues into that. So in Oak Hill, and I'm sure James saw this, I did not make it down to Oak Hill to look at their trees. We looked at the Wellston trees, though, and the Jackson ones. They were really pretty. But they did the trees at Central Memorial Park, and they did a People's Choice winner down there. So people got to vote on what tree that they liked. And so they want to congratulate the People's Choice winner for the Christmas in the Park tree. And the tree winner is in memory of Jackie Carpenter. It was tree number 25, and they win a $100 gift card.
Awesome.
So very cool. And get hold of the Oak Hill Historical Society to claim your card. And there's the tree. So very, very pretty. And that was the People's Choice winner. And I think they had like a bunch. What'd they have, James? How many trees they have down there? Was it 80?
I think 80 was how many they had in Wellston. I think they were a little bit less in Oak Hill. But
Okay.
I honestly don't remember.
There were a bunch. So imagine like winning that. That's a huge deal.
That is. That is. You know, and I love that is something that recently started in recent years is something that we've never had. I wish I wish somebody would have thought of that years ago. It's amazing, I had gone down to Gallup Police for their Christmas thing in the park, the lights in the park several years ago. They've been doing that for quite some time, and I always thought that was so beautiful. And to see that that our local communities here in Jackson County, like Oak Hill, Wellston, Jackson, are all doing it. And we went over and did the walk. I took some pictures and did some video. I actually videoed the entire walk. It was
oh, nice.
Yeah, it was. There were some amazing decorated trees,
and
there.
they add 2 every year, which is crazy. But it's really good.
And I think it's neat because it's a great way to memorialize someone. It's a great way to showcase maybe an organization or a group.
Yep.
I just
think it's a good bonding experience for people to do the trees,
Exactly, yeah.
Like get together and design it and come up with it.
Yeah, it's not your traditional in the house, so and you can bring different people from you can get so many different people into one thing and everybody gets to do it and it's outside, and I like the idea. I think it's awesome, and I hope that more people I'd like to see it so jam-packed in there next year that you have to go down aisles this way and they have to go to like gravel pathways or something in there just so you can go see all the trees.
That would be fun. That would be totally fun. I saw an article the other day, and it's one of those where I read it on the internet, so it must be true. I'm not sure.
I get caught up in that sometimes. And it's not always true.
You're like, is it? So I don't know whether I should report or not. But no. But I saw where they were saying that the first decorated Christmas tree to come into someone's home was actually a guy in Worcester, Ohio. And it used to be that communities would just pick a tree like within the community and decorate it. And that was kind of like everyone's Christmas tree. But there was a guy in Worcester that actually cut down a tree and brought it in his home and decorated it.
Even before Laura Ingalls and Charles Ingalls and all them on Little House on the Prairie. Now I gotta have.
Oh my goodness!
I seen that on Little House on the Prairie, and that was. Yeah.
Okay, I've got a little bit more information here.
Is that true?
The residents of August Ingram, the man credited with bringing the Christmas tree to Worcester.
Okay.
1847. He's from Bavaria.
Isn't that wild?
Now, was that just Worcester or Worcester? Excuse me.
Worcester.
I don't know. This quite a bit comes up online when you look for it.
It makes it sound like it was like the first Christmas tree, inside.
So there must be some truth to that story.
Okay.
Yeah, and
that's pretty cool.
It is cool, but where does the Christmas tree come from anyway? Because is there any religious significance of the Christmas tree? I don't know of any.
Fair question. I don't know.
I think a lot of Christmas traditions are a mishmash of different winter holidays that all kind of got meshed together over time.
Yeah, and different religions and things that have just come together and
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's neat. I do. I like Santa Claus. I like Santa Claus a lot.
Hey.
I like Harley Claus too.
Right. Hey, speaking of, there's a story there for you.
Yeah.
Super cute.
Yeah, I think this was really cool. There was, Christmas Eve when a group of Jackson Countyans played the role of giving and loving Santa Claus when they presented a new automobile and other gifts to Brent and Catherine Miller, a family on McCartney Road near Jackson. The Miller family has dealt with some financial hardship since Mr. Miller suffered a disabling stroke. And
isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Look at that.
Yep. Some really nice gifts that they got them, and
gifts for the kids, and a new car.
That's great that the community can get together and do something like that, and especially for someone in need. And I'm sure they're as a philanthropy, the organization, they go through a lot of different candidates, and they weigh out their options. Who needs this most? Who can use this and utilize this? And I'm sure there's more people out there that could use this, and hopefully there's more individual groups or individuals that team up like these folks have done and do just exactly that, because they've done an amazing job in making that happen. That's for sure.
That's right. And
I've put the link to the full article on this, the Santa Claus, the
okay.
veterans, in the comments, and I've also put the story about the Worcester Christmas tree in the comments.
Oh, cool.
Anyone
Thanks,
is
James.
interested in reading more.
Super
I think
awesome.
the Apple City Motorcycle Club had made it a point to have the club support local and area veterans in recent years, and the club has provided Christmas gifts for veterans in local nursing homes, as well as doing this. So Jackson, Apple City Motorcycle Club, want to give a big shout out to those guys. Yeah, they do a lot of great things. You know,
they may be burly motorcycle riders, but they have big hearts.
Big hearts. You know, I drove by their clubhouse out there on 35 for years and years and years, and often wondered what goes on in there.
I know, right?
You know?
What if the walls could talk?
Exactly.
What would they
my
say?
cousin, actually, Jerry Scott, is a part of that. I believe I see him in there. He's one of the big burly dudes out front there, and I see him at a lot of different organizations, and you know, at the fair and at the Apple Festival and different things like that. And they're always out doing different things for the community. And, you know, that's one thing that I like to point out about organizations like that, because being from a motorcycling background that I am, working in the motorcycle racing industry, it's funny, the stigmatism that motorcycle people have in communities. When you go someplace, even dirt bike riders, you know, if people don't know about, they think that the Hells Angels are coming to town whenever they have an organized event or something like that. And the one thing that you got to understand, there's a lot of motorcycle clubs around the country. Christian motorcyclists, the CMA.
It's the same as any other.
It's a club. It's an organization.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, groups like the Hells Angels and things like that have given
you watch
a bad.
Sons of Anarchy, and then you think, okay.
And yes, that does go on, but we do have great organizations that are just guys that like to get together and like to play the hard, rough guy, and you know, and a lot of them are doctors and lawyers, and have
Wild Hogs more than Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, and that's the majority of your motorcycle clubs, and that's kind of like what. Now there's some roughnecks in this one. Now I can tell my cousin. I'm just kidding.
That guy and that guy right there. No, we're teasing. No, they have hearts of gold, and that's huge.
And thank you very much. And any other organizations, I mean,
man,
you should basically follow what they're doing. I mean, follow their lead. I think pick a group of people, pick an individual, pick a family, whatever the case may be, and go after it. Maybe not necessarily for the notoriety. I know they don't do it for the notoriety. We want to give them the notoriety because it's a good thing. It
was a cool thing to do.
It was a cool thing. And it would be great if that becomes a bigger thing next year and we see lots of things like this happen.
So much giving, and it's appreciated. It really is.
So as we head into the new year, do you feel as giving now, or are you more focused and moving forward now? I know our hearts are still kind of soft with Christmas, but now that we are moving forward, what are you working on?
Well, I think that, you know, that always needs to be in our hearts, and how quickly we forget as the holidays pass you by and whatever. And, you know, if the news media wants to do something good instead of, you know, whatever, they should remind people of that. And that's like this whole Betty White movement that's going on right now. And basically, you know, it's all over Facebook of, you know, donate to your local animal shelter in her name. And that's what she would want, because by all accounts, said that she liked animals way more than she liked human beings. And she loved people, but she loved animals. She was about them. And so, you know, that whole movement of helping out animals in her name, and, you know, donate on her 100th birthday because she didn't quite make it. She was 2.5 weeks off. And, you know, do that. And so there's just like, I feel like there's just like goals we should set. Maybe once a month, do something good for someone.
Right.
Buy the person behind you Wendy's a burger or something. Like, do something. It doesn't have to be huge. Just do something nice.
Exactly.
For
And as great as that is, I mean, somebody you know people in your life that are struggling in some way, shape, or form. Maybe they've got a payment coming up of some sorts, or they need whatever.
Go pay their electric bill for a month, and you don't even have to say who you are.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, if you can afford it, and whatever. Obviously. I mean, that's kind of big, but
and it may be just as simple as sending a pizza over to their house for dinner one night, or a full course meal. I mean, take them over a full course meal because they've been working so hard here, or cook dinner for them and take it to them, or something like that. Don't even make them come to your place. Go to their place, take it to them, clean up, and leave. That's. Do the right thing.
There's all kind of things. So if you think about it, if you say, okay, I'm going to pick one thing a month to do, that's 12 things in an entire year.
I just got a very good idea, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I think that Main Street TV should probably lead the way in something like that. I think that once a month, the Main Street TV, we should pick a project, something that we go do that helps somebody out, whether it be help clean their house, whether it help pick up their yard, whatever the case may be. I know I'm going to be gone a lot, but I think that
welcome to Main Street TV, Rodney. We've got some jobs for you.
No, I will come back and do stuff like that. I don't care to do that. I mean, I think it's. I mean, maybe it doesn't. I mean, it's something that needs to be refined. But I think here, whatever it is, No,
and you lead by example. So if we're doing it, then
maybe we need to start a food drive one month. Maybe we need to do this one month. Maybe we need to, and maybe listeners, viewers can actually send something in that will.
Yeah. Does anybody have any ideas? We'd be happy to do stuff.
Yeah. I mean, call it a Good Samaritan Day, or I don't know. We'll figure out something. I mean, there's no reason that, like you say, we shouldn't lead by example here. And I'm willing to come back and willing to make work my schedule around to be a part of it.
Right there. Well, thank you. You're awful sweet.
Well,
my God, we got some sweetness out of him.
Well, we're running out of time. I guess I had to let it go eventually.
I think that's good. Something cool to do once a month. And again, it's 12 things a year if you put it down to it. And I was talking the other day about, people talk about New Year's resolutions. And one of my niece's best friends did, she just took a year and she documented it. And she did something she'd never done before every month. And she documented it. So at the end of the year, and I mean, one of them was skydiving, but then one of them was like, I took a knitting class. Oh. So, it doesn't have to be like you're jumping, out of an airplane every month. It could be anything.
Right.
Take a dance class. Do something. Make a candle, like whatever that you haven't done. And again, there's only 12 things in a whole year.
And I think you can find one day a month to do something.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like to pretend or think I'm that busy, but I think even I could find one day a month.
And we do. And so that's what Jamie and I were talking about over the New Year's weekend was, but you just have to plan that stuff out because a month is gone.
Very
just
good.
Like that. I mean, we are on the 4th of the month already.
Wow. I forgot my watch today. No wonder.
But I mean, it's the next thing you know, it's going to be February and you're going to be like, oh.
Yep. And then it'll be March and then you'll be mowing grass.
Right. I mean, and it's all, and then you're like, where did these months go? But if you're doing something at least once a month, then you feel like you've accomplished something.
All righty. I want to accomplish 12 things this year.
12 things.
Actually, I'm going to accomplish more than that. But I want to do 12 good deeds, and I want to be a part of that this year. So.
Okay. What can our deeds be? What do-gooding can we do?
I don't know. Comment in the Facebook and YouTube pages and let us know. And we'll look back on those, and we'll sift through them. And you guys are going to – I'm going to put it up on you. You're going to have to get hold of me and say, Rodney, this is what we're doing. This is when we're doing it. Or, Rodney, this is what we got. How are we going to do this? I'll be able to help in any way that I can, but I promise I'll come back and do what I can.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me.
It's almost 10 o'clock, by the way. So
It is. Yeah. Well, I think that this month we should definitely, and Courtney was kind of spearheaded this, but I think this month should definitely be the Betty White donate to your animal somehow. Whether you go out and walk the pound dogs, maybe you take some food out to them, cleaning supplies, anything like that.
Great. I just got a visual on you walking all the dogs at the pound.
I would totally do that.
I think
it wasn't that long ago that you had that dog walking event.
We
at
did.
The restaurant.
We had, oh God, how many pound dogs did we have show up? It was a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, it was 10 or 15, I think.
Yeah, and we had, they had to make 2 trips in the big truck, if that tells you anything.
Wow.
And, we had volunteers come to the brewery, and it was part of our, we have a Furry Friends fundraiser every year at the brewery. And so we condensed it this year. We didn't do it last year because we couldn't. So we condensed it this year into one day. But we had tons of donations and volunteers come and walk pound dogs at the brewery.
We could do that out. There's a dog. Isn't there a dog park down here in the Eddie Jones Park?
Yeah, but right now you're not going to want to go into.
Why not?
Because your front yard, it's about 20 times worse than that.
Oh, that's right. It's in a low-lying area. Well, not right this minute anyway. But I mean, that's something that we can plan at the right time of the year.
We could.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd love to do something.
Or just go out to the pound and hang out with them out there too.
Yes, that's even a grander idea. So there you go.
Yeah. So, all right.
What day we doing this?
I don't know. When's Betty White's birthday, James?
I think it's January 17th.
January 17th. So somewhere around there.
Okay.
We have to do.
Well, we'll get plans together
for the animals.
That's it, and we'll get.
This is an easy month.
Yeah, and we'll invite the community to come out and do it as well. You going to do the show live from there also? Can you do that out there?
Can we do that, James?
Oh well, if they
have Wi-Fi.
If they have good enough internet.
If we have internet out there, it's possible.
They're pretty good about bringing some 4-legged friends when they come in here.
Yeah, and they haven't been in the new studio yet.
Yeah, so
I'll reach out.
Yeah, we'll reach out.
We'll make something happen.
All right, sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got Zola in all kinds of trouble in the
You
last
did.
5 minutes.
That's okay. You know what? That we are here for the community.
Yep.
And whether the council thinks we're important or not, that's totally fine.
We don't need the council.
And we don't need them, I guess, because we're still here for the community, and you just have to watch us in different ways, which I still feel like is very sad. But anyway, that's okay. And we are here for you all out there. So if you have any ideas, let us know. Give us a shout out, whether it's in a personal message or on our Facebook feed, and we'll be happy to explore any options.
Absolutely.
How's that?
That's great. I love it. Yeah, and your community organization, Total Media. I mean, you can't beat it. Between the newspaper, the radio, Main Street TV, got you covered in all the bases there.
That's right.
And you're going to see. I think you're going to see more of that face out and about in the community, and more of Main Street TV in the future. So get used to it and get excited about it, because big things are coming.
Yeah, there you go. Sounds good. All right. Well, have a wonderful day, everyone. We appreciate you so much for tuning in. And tomorrow on the show, very special guest, our good friend, I have to call him Mr. Reinhardt because he was a teacher. Is that weird?
No.
Dennis Reinhardt will be here, and we'll be talking about his new show at the Marquee. He does some amazing photos.
I remember him as a football coach, actually.
It's like, oh no, what do I? Isn't that weird? Like the whole teacher thing. Do I call you by your? I'm not sure what to call you now.
I'm gonna have to come in just for that, just to see how uncomfortable you get tomorrow.
Exactly.
Calling him Dennis. You'll call him Mr. Reinhardt.
Oh, I for sure, 100%. It's weird if you don't. So. All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. Thank you, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.